大家好，我是康云. Hello everyone, I'm Kang Yun, aka Cloud, aka Cricket, and welcome back to Chang'e's journey through Boletaria. So in between last episode and this one, I made the Morian Blade, which is just a transliteration here, Moan Jian, Moan being how you might say that in China with Chinese characters. I am going to upgrade my Mailbreaker down the Fatal Path, but we will get the Marrow Stone needed for that in the Valley of Defilement, which we'll be going to next. And I made a Compound Longbow. I made a quality one +5. With 16 strength and dex, it kind of was a toss-up between regular and quality. Quality ended up being very marginally stronger. Spiderstone, because we don't have high dex, was weaker, but it does have longer range. But we're not going to be really using a bow that much, but there are situations where we'll want one. But that's not something we want right now. And I think, yeah, we're all set up for what we need to do, I believe. So without further ado, let us go into the so this is 悲伤沼泽. 沼泽 is swamp, and 悲伤 is like sorrowful or griefful. I think they called it the Swamp of Sorrow in English. The Sorrow Swamp in Chinese, we'll say. Yeah, this is my favorite level in the game. Maybe some of you might think I'm crazy for saying that, but I think this has some of the best atmosphere of any of the games, of any level in any of these games. And it does what it set out to do so well. So the enemies here are depraved ones. They're weak to slash, which is why we're using the moon hooked sword, and we'll be using fireball quite a bit. Actually, no, you know what? We want fire spray rather than we definitely want fire spray. I was thinking about it, but there are plenty of enemies that fire spray will be very useful against. So we'll go get that quick. I'm always doing this. Let's go into the level. Oh, wait, we forgot. Let's go back. You're probably used to it by now. I hope you'll forgive me.
It's better than having you.
And we'll unequip that. We'll take that and Soul Ray.
Be careful how you use it.
If we have second chance, we can't use cloak because those both count as a body buff, and you can only have one body buff on your character at any given time. I won't cast second chance right away, but there'll be times when I will use it. But for the most part, we're probably going to be taking things out from range like we have been. So we come out to this cavern, and there's just this giant swamp. Now, for whatever reason, the original game, this was much darker and you couldn't see anything, but with the classic filter on, it seems lighter, and it actually looks more accurate in this part of the game when you turn on the or you turn off the filters, but for the sake of playing through this with the classic filters on, we're gonna leave it on. But you can see there's a lot of like jellyfish in the swamp there. And flame spray works very well on those guys. There is a crystal lizard there. And you'll notice I equipped my Royal Lotus, or my Noble's Lotus, because this swamp does poison you. And it also impedes your movement. It makes you move more slowly. Now, I'm going to be going through and looting everything here. We're not going to necessarily need everything, but we'll want to equip the Regenerator's Ring to offset the poison. But that was a Mirdan Hammer we picked up. And they give you Regenerator's Ring for that very purpose. So if you didn't get the one in the Shrine of Storms, you'll get one here. And if you come along this side of the wall, this is dividing the cavern. You cannot cross there. It's way easier to see. The ring that we got in Pure Black Tendency and Latria, the saturated ring, allows you to traverse the swamp unimpeded, but we don't really need that. It's only really useful if you're fighting enemies in the swamp. There are a lot of jellyfish here that will drop Royal Lotuses. Well, they'll just drop all the Lotuses. They do not respawn, so you might as well kill them when you come through here. Let me see. These things, I might be able to just one-shot them with the spear, yeah. And the spear has better range. We can save on some MP. I'm used to coming through this level with a faith build where the regen far outpowers the poison. So we do want to keep an eye on our health, because that poison will over time wear you down if you don't have regen or you don't heal periodically. So you can come to this level very early on, and if you don't have a lot of healing items, it can burn through. You can burn through your grass quite quickly. So, and if you're a faith build, it is worth coming here. And you will notice that there's a giant black phantom in pure black. Well, that appears in black, but we'll go through here. You want to be careful not to take too many hits from these guys, because if we get hit twice, we're probably going to die. Yeah, they can drop all three of the lotuses. We got some soldiers there. Got some widows. And we can see in the distance over there, there's a and while we could heal this poison. We're gonna continuously get poisoned by this swamp. We can see over there is a black phantom that's wandering the swamp. She is the meat cleaver phantom. Here we get a war scythe. We already got one from the Reaper. We're gonna cast Cloak here. We get some Dark Moon Grass. There's a bunch of useful pickups in this part of the swamp. And we're poisoned again. 11 Crescent Grass. A Broken Sword. Now that's useful if you're making a blue blood sword build. And we'll just sort of keep healing this poison as we get poisoned. Now you want to fight her on land because you can't dodge in the swamp. And here is where you get the cat's ring. And this is a large enough island where if we have to roll, because you cannot roll in the swamp where you would want to fight her. We can probably take her out without too much trouble using magic, but I might be wrong about that. We'll see. See how strong my fireball spell is. Yeah, and she's going to dodge, which is not great. So we want to get back to the island and see where we cannot run fully in the swamp, she can. Ooh. And you want to be careful. Oh. Yeah, and she has hyper armor on her attacks. What that means is, like I've explained before, with the pickaxe miners and the fat officials, you cannot interrupt them when she starts up an attack, because the two-handed R1s and R2s on the great axe weapons have hyper armor, and I was hoping I could stun lock her before she started an attack, but that was not the case. Those guys do drop black turpentine. Not really useful for us, but if you are on a quality build, those can be useful. Or a build that uses pure physical weapons. Okay. So, those jellyfish things do not respawn. So the ones we killed before won't be here. We'll take out the other ones that we see. In the original game, you could see rain more clearly coming down. Well, not necessarily more clearly, but it was more obvious that it was just raining muck. And this area was very bleak. Very bleak looking. And I do like how they made it in the remake. It looks super cool. It's just, I guess it's similar to how Latria, I love both versions, but the feeling is just a little bit different from the PS3 to the PS5. And some people may argue that it's not as good. Like it sacrifices a little bit with the fidelity. But I don't know. I think this level is still one of my favorites. If you do bother to do everything and fight all the enemies, it's quite a challenging level depending on how strong you are. But if you're just rushing through here, which you can rush through this level without fighting everything, then it's quite a bit easier. I'd like it if we could get her attention. Well, maybe we'll just have to wait for her to make her rounds, because she does walk over this way. While we're waiting, we can go loot this stuff. And we got the attention of these depraved ones. Over here, I think you get a pure sucker stone. Yeah, there's a pure sucker stone, and then there's, I think, a chunk right around here. And we got there's 3 depraved ones on the island you want to be aware of. Yeah, there's 2 chunks. Up. And there's the 3rd one. Yeah. That was not that was not well timed. I couldn't roll. I could put on that ring, but I don't really I don't really want to use that ring. I prefer playing it like the original, and you couldn't roll in the swamp in the original, so I mean, it's nice that they did give you the option to bypass that if you get that ring in pure black tendency in Latria, but it's not necessary to use. You can still very much make it through this level without having to use that ring. And that's, I think, part of what made this level and this game harder was it was a little bit more punishing to the player. We'll put that regenerator's ring back on to offset this poison a little bit. But you can see how large this level is just in the scale of it. So it's, you can see why I waited to allow myself to have a full episode to do this level. Now I'd like to get her attention. And backstab grab her. She likes that rolling attack, which is punish. There we go. And she is very important to kill for faith builds because she drops 3 chunks of faint stone, of which are hard to come by. And take out those guys, and there's 6 black turpentine over here. Now, approaching this island here with all these enemies, I think there's 3 small depraved ones, and there's 1 giant plus the black phantom and black tendency. You want to get the attention of the little ones first, and their aggro radius is a little larger. And you'll see that we've got the attention of them. And there's a bunch of rubble and such. That's good to clear out to give yourself a little bit of room to maneuver if you have to retreat. Now, if there's only the giant and you're not in black tendency, he's pretty easy to fight up there by himself. But because of the black phantom one over there and how fast these guys can run, look at how fast these guys run in the swamp. Drop the morning star. Because of that, you really want to give yourself room to run away from those guys. Because if we had gotten caught on some of that rubble, this guy will clearly one-shot us, and he has a ton of HP. I'll try to demonstrate fighting him in melee. I hope I don't get myself killed for doing so, but you bait out an attack. Oh, and he got us. You bait out an attack, and ideally you want to get underneath his attack and punish him. I positioned myself poorly there. But you see how much health that guy has. Those Black Phantom Giants have 100% drop on Stones of Ephemeral Eyes, so they are worth killing, even if it is somewhat of a pain. We should probably be wearing this ring to do more damage against them. And I'm not even wearing the monk's head wrappings, which would be of great use to us. But we took out all those jellyfish, and we got all the stuff in the swamp and killed the black phantom. So really, we just have to go back there and kill the we'll cast Second Chance here. So Second Chance costs 100 MP to cast, which is why you need at least 15 intelligence, or enough intelligence that you can equip the Silver Catalyst and the Silver Coronet to offset that. And then at minimum you could only have, I think, enough. You could have one miracle slot and then use, there's a ring that will get in this level that will give you a second miracle slot when you equip it, but if you don't want to have to equip 3 different items just to cast that one miracle, you can I will put on the monk's head wrappings for this part to give us a little bit more damage on our spells. Yeah, we can kill him with 3 fireballs now. Or 3 of those little flame sprays. Okay, let's clear out some of this rubble. Also, if those jellyfish are here, they could harass you while you're trying to fight those guys. Okay, and that poison, even though it doesn't do a lot over time, it will eat away at your health. So, and it does reduce the effectiveness of healing grass. It's hard to see where I'm aiming with this goofy hat. Okay. Time to get our revenge. I did want to show the melee strategy, though. Ooh. Using magic is optimal. Yeah, that's it. I didn't think that would kill him. Yeah, 3 HP he survived with. Yeah. Oop, sorry about that, guys. That's a Stone of Ephemeral Eyes, like I said. That is intense. Fighting those guys. Those are some of the strongest enemies in the entire game, if not the strongest. You saw how many attacks it took us to kill him, and we were wearing, I mean, we could have gone full hyper mode, I suppose, but we were wearing the holy trinity of magic users, the Crisp Blade, Magical Sharpness, and the Monk's Head wrappings. and it still took that many shots. So from there, and I should mention, if you are trying to just bypass all this, because like I said, you can run past this island without having to fight any of these guys. You cast Cloak or the Thief's Ring and walk around the side, and you creep up the side, not this side, either one of these sides, and you can, from the swamp portion, get onto this platform and run past here. Now past here, we're gonna have to fight a very powerful NPC Black Phantom, and this is the Black Phantom Selen Vinland, and she's probably my favorite NPC in the game. And she is pretty difficult to fight because you have to fight her in this swamp. Oh, and there's mosquitoes, which is why we want, and these enemies drop Marrowstone. Let's take them out. This takes one to kill them. We could traverse this scaffolding, but there's really not much up there that we need. And there's just like a horde of depraved ones that come out of a cave. I might show it later, but we're really here first and foremost to kill the Black Phantom, Selen Vinland. She casts anti-magic field as soon as she sees you. So if she gets that cast off, we're gonna be very limited in how we can fight her. So to counteract that, I'm going to wear. We have what? I'm pretty sure she's gonna one-shot us. We'll wear the Thief's Ring. And see if we can't sneak up on her. The thing is we can't cast Cloak, which would be a lot nicer, but we have second chance, so. And once we're behind her, I think what we want to do is use our Crescent Rapier. Get a backstab. And she will... There we go. She will prioritize rolling away to cast anti-magic field over attacking you. And we get the Wu Dao, which is the blind blade, or the blind as they call it in English. We took care of her pretty easily there, but trust me, if you do not get the jump on her and she sees you and if she were to cast anti-magic field, as it says, or as the name implies, it's a miracle that prevents you from casting magic. And we would be limited to fighting her in melee, and she has the upper hand because she can move in the swamp freely. She won't get poisoned by the swamp. And if we could only fight her on this little patch of rocks, and if we were to like get stuck in the swamp and try, like because if you're in the swamp and try to dodge, this is what happens when you try to dodge in the swamp. You stumble like that, and it leaves you open for attack, which is why you saw me earlier fighting that that Black Phantom Butcher woman and not dodging, because I couldn't dodge, and it would have just led to my death. Now, if you fall from here, you can't get back up that scaffolding without getting to the other side. And over here, we get another Dark Moon Grass. And up ahead, we can see some torches, which in the original game you couldn't really see that cliffside. You could really only see these torches. And we're getting low on our Noble's Lotus. Let's see, how are we doing on time? Okay, we're doing pretty... We have a fair amount of time left. We have more mosquitoes up ahead. We want to be... We do want the... ooh, it dropped a chunk. Those are rare. The chunks of marrow stone are rare to get. We can follow this path here. You see some items in the distance there. I'll showcase that in a bit. For that is a part... That part is very difficult. And those items are not really worth it. There's a bunch of slugs over here. And you can see up there there's a nest. And the slugs will keep respawning until you knock down that nest. But you have to get up there on the scaffolding that we'll be able to access in a little bit. Up ahead we see another Black Phantom Giant. And there's two regular giants, and there's a shaman, the brave one. The shamans are like stronger versions of the little ones, and they can cast Poison Cloud, which is a very potent poison spell that will hit you with a poison that's stronger than the swamp. So if you're not poisoned by the swamp already and you get hit by that Poison Cloud, you want to watch out. So we're gonna go back to this... and see if we can't aggro one of these guys with a fireball. Looks like we're just... I don't want to get the Black Phantom. And as much as you can, you want to try to stay on this path. And they can sometimes have a hard time finding their path into you. But they don't get staggered. These enemies cannot get staggered as far as I believe. They might be able to, but I don't think so. They can also not be backstabbed or parried. So there's some of the most, you know, granted they only have 2 real attacks, but they hit like trucks, and they can cover ground quite fast. So they're very formidable foes, and you want to, you know, always have a plan of attack when you're engaging with them. If you're going to, you can bypass this part, but by running past. But I'm trying to showcase what you would do if you were trying to fight everything. Plus, I feel like it's part of the challenge of this level is actually fighting through the enemies. Okay. That's those guys down. Now, often that shaman will aggro. needed those lotuses. Yeah, this guy. Not great that we're in the swamp. And if you have to, run for your life. Oh no. We didn't clear out the rubble, which was our mistake. But luckily he got stuck on it too, and he seems to have lost focus of us for a moment. Wow. It's always intense when those guys are chasing you. Their footsteps are so... they're so imposing. And this shaman here, when he sees you, he will run after you, and he will usually start casting a spell. You want to take him out as quickly as possible. There's a fog wall we can go through, which is the way forward. I'll show this. And if you're using stealth, you can sort of come around from the swamp, and I'll show that. You would come from this side to sort of bypass them. The shaman will usually see you and follow you, and you want to kill him pretty quickly because there's a merchant in there. The filthy woman is in there, and if he casts that poison cloud, it can poison her and she'll die. So you want to be careful. But there's an island over here I wanted to show with a slug on it. And this slug drops, it has a guaranteed drop of... we'll send all this stuff back that we don't need. This broken sword, the blind. I'll show these. Well, the blind doesn't really weigh anything. This Morning Star, Mirdan Hammer, the War Scythe. The second ring. Can we pick this up yet? Yeah, this is the dull gold armor set. This is for females only, and this is Selen Vinland's set. This is my favorite armor set in the game, and I do like how they redesigned it. I'm not sure if I'll be using it on this character. I may. We want the silver bracelets, though. I kind of like that better than the other ones. Than the ones we were wearing. The armor we were wearing. But this is also a little bit more... I don't know. Chang'e is not necessarily a dark character. Well, she's not. I wouldn't say so. And the other armor is a little bit, maybe a little bit darker, but I think it also suits... it suits her a little better because she's using magic. So, I don't know. One way or the other. We'll see. I may use that in the future, but for now we're sticking with this. So we want to run back to where we were. And there is a whole shanty town that's like a maze, crawling with depraved ones. There's no giants. Well, in Pure Black, there's a Black Phantom Giant, so I should take that back. But we'll go talk over here with well, hold on. We'll talk with the merchant over here. And these depraved ones will see you and come after you, but she's right here.
Hey, I know you. Would you buy something, please? My poor child is sick. He needs your help.
Now, they don't actually show her child, and I think the reason they may have done that is because of the fact that you can kill NPCs in this game, and they didn't want to depict killing children, which makes sense. But she sells the same things that she did previously, but she will update her stock to now sell the. She still sells the Stone of Ephemeral Eyes for every time you die in this level, or 1 plus every time she'll sell another one. She sells Dark Moon Grass now, 3 of them. She will sell Faintstone Shards for 10,000 apiece. And she will sell the Mirdan set, which is, I think, one of the strongest armor sets in the game. It's very heavy, though. It's the starting armor set for the Temple Knight, and then she sells these collected grains that raise your resistances to poison, plague, and bleed, I believe. We'll buy some of these Lotus, because we're running short on them. But that's all we'll really buy.
This place, it's a proper heap of rubbish. All the rot of the world, living or not, ends up here. My boy doesn't want for anything. Ever since that demoness came here, everything has turned foul. This was a much better place before she came. I was the apple of every man's eye. You're here to rid us of her, aren't you? Well, don't show her any mercy.
What men are here?
My boy doesn't want for anything.
Okay.
Finished already? I only want my dear boy to be happy.
Okay, now, the way forward, like I said, is through here. But we want to go back because we can get a few more things here, and the Primeval Demon is just up ahead. And be aware that there are mosquitoes, and they will creep up on you pretty quickly, like they did to me there. No drops of Marrowstone, but for farming Marrowstone, you can farm mosquitoes, or you can also farm the giant ticks in the first part of the level. We'll want to come here and kill this Primeval Demon. And hopefully get a colorless Demon Soul, which we did. So now, once we leave, because we've killed Black Phantom Selen Vinland, and the Primeval Demon, the world will go back to it'll go to white tendency. But this boss is not particularly hard, so I think we'll just do this all in one fell swoop. I'm not going to be able to finish this in this episode. I'm getting short on time, but we'll make our way up here, and I can show knocking down this leech's nest. You want to be careful here because it's easy to fall off, and if you do fall, it is a fatal drop. Now you'll come here and you'll see you can attack this nest from here without falling, because this board will prevent you from going forward. And if you just attack it enough, it will drop. You can kill these other leeches and loot the items. These leeches, ooh, that was almost bad. These leeches will drop Sucker Stone just like the ones in the Shrine of Storms. I don't know that they can drop sticky white stuff, though. I think that may just be the ones in the Shrine of Storms. And one way or another, you can drop down there. And this spot will probably be a good place to use Soul Ray, because it goes through enemies, and there's a ton of these slugs. But you see on the ground there, ooh, we want to be careful not to die to these goofy things. Oh, and you see our character tendency changed. I should point out that because we killed the Black Phantom son of Vinland, we're no longer pure black. We just have black tendency. Yeah, these things aren't that strong by themselves, but just like before, they gang up on you, they can overwhelm you. We could die. I would like to hit that one. I don't know why I'm not able to target that one. Yeah, and you'll get a ton of Sucker Stone from killing these guys if you have black tendency, because that's a pretty common drop from them. Sucker Stone is not hard to farm, unlike Blade Stone. Well, Blade Stone, they've made it a lot easier in the remake. How am I missing this? I don't know how I'm missing this guy, but okay. So we've thinned out the herd, and we can see now that hidden amongst the there's one more. The slug nest was a weapon, and you probably recognize this weapon because it's in all FromSoft games, and that is the Large Sword of Moonlight. And we can't pick it up because it's too heavy, so we'll equip this. and you've probably seen this in PvP. We cannot use this weapon because it's a faith weapon. It requires 24 faith, scales S in faith, does pure magic damage, has the highest durability of any weapon in the game at 900, only weighs 2 units, and it is a large sword. It has the large sword moveset, and on top of that it bypasses shields, and it has this really cool effect. A great weapon for faith builds, but we are not a faith build, so we will not be using that. But that is how you get that weapon if you were making a faith build. I'll just add that in the Dark Souls series, they made that weapon scale with intelligence, which in the Dark Souls series, intelligence became what magic is in this game, and then the intelligence stat in this game became attunement. So they changed that a little bit. But yeah, this weapon was originally a faith weapon, and they changed it for the Dark Souls series for whatever reason. But either way, it's a pretty cool sword, and that's the way you get it. But I think this is a good time, if any, to leave off, because we're just about out of time. So I want to thank all of you for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not already, and I will see all of you next time on Chang'e's journey through Boletaria. Umbasa.